Good morning, Internet. I'm Master Briss, and as you can probably tell from the alternative choice of background music, this is the Compilation episode, where basically I did a bunch of things that aren't massively connected together, because at this point the hack is pretty much a mess of ideas, all happening in the wrong order, so I'm just going to play that up as much as I can. As you can see, we're back in the Senate, where I've somehow managed to get the Republicans and Democrats to come back. I've caught the legendary Pokemon Tiamat and Lunarex by hacking in Master Balls. They still suffer from the hacker's curse of, let's have two really good stats and then make the rest awful. Which I've never really understood, but that just seems to be the way this hacker likes doing things. Vera being as effective as ever, especially considering how weak these things are. I'm sure these are all real people, but I don't know. I don't follow US politics to a massive degree. And these people have fairly large, lengthy sight ranges, actually. It's always confused me. I mean, the Democrats got their own specific sort of proper Democrat llama thing, but the Republicans just got Donphan? Why not just make two sets of fake Mon? Or at least sort of re-sprite Donphan a bit to maybe fit the Republican design ethos a little bit more. Or is that asking too much? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Either way, this just turns into a massive slogfest where, are you weak to ground? Yes, die horribly. And so the vicious cycle continues. Until the Swine uses Endure to slightly break up the monotony. Which I shall now demonstrate by yawning loudly. That was actually rather disappointing. Also, this isn't the boss. This confused me, and then I realised there was probably supposed to be another level on top of this, which just wasn't implemented into the game, because otherwise this just ends up tailing off at the end for absolutely no reason, to absolutely no effect, with no reward and no cast form. Absolutely nothing in the way of casting forms in this particular side quest. Ah, the disappointment. It burns, and no matter how much walking around and trying to reset pointer flags I do, it will always be the same. You will always say the same thing, and I shall eventually get bored and vanish somewhere else. Where shall I go to? Well, I can't go anywhere over there because, as I may have mentioned before, the fly map is horribly broken. And Mount Pyre isn't where it is. I found where Mount Pyre is, actually. We'll be going there next part. It's in Not Sutopolis. That's where they decided to put it. Apparently, if the plot of this game was supposed to be followed correctly, you'd end up going to Sutopolis, then doing the Mount Pyre thing. I've got no idea what was supposed to happen with the Captain Stern thing. There are certain bits of dialogue that imply he still exists somewhere, but I couldn't for the life of me tell you if they are accurate or not. I came in here just to check if it was the Safari Zone still. It is still the Safari Zone, and I don't imagine anything about it will be very different. However, maybe this art museum has turned into something else. Nope. Still resolutely the same old art museum. This is still the Move Deleter's house, and this is the point where I mentioned that every single house that's not the art gallery and not Lily Cove City warps to a different house for no reason. And then that last one warps into the art gallery. It's a circle or something. What does this guy even say? I wish it would fill up faster. Oh, I'm filling up my ship's fuel tank by standing in front of it. I can't tell you where the filler cap is. It's gotta be around here somewhere, right? How hard is it to find a filler cap? Really? Answer being, harder than you think. Maybe. I think that's just still the Shard Hunter's house. Right, now that we are back here, I think we should plan to... I only just noticed that Lunar X has Intimidate. No, Levitate. It's a very arbitrary ability to give it. Very arbitrary indeed. Thing I should point out, actually. Aside from the fact that Piers, aka Picard, is the leader of the 7th gym, he's a water type. The Lunar X on the world map respawns indefinitely. You could have infinites of them if you so wish. This is not one of the better sprites. This is a seagull. A part dragon type seagull. There's no real reason it should be dragon type. The phoenix you can sort of understand. It's a phoenix. But this is an animal. And it's only now, 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the video, that I forgot that I didn't explain that I've officially quit Nuzlocking this game. Not because I've failed, but because I don't feel it's worth it anymore, and you have quit Claw. That is the only explanation for that. It's not really as much a game anymore as it is a sort of hodgepodge of random events that happen in a randomly determined order. And I can't be done with that. I just want to see what this game has to offer and then get out. Get out, run, and never look at it again. That will make me happy. That will make me a happy Briss. And a happy Briss is a healthy Briss. Something that I should probably have been told at 5:30 this morning when I was sick as a dog. I have since recovered. It was easier than you'd think. Thompson has now learned Sky Uppercut thanks to all the rare candies I've been feeding things to keep on top of the level curve. It's proving to be rather useful. Even if he's not as fast as I'd like him to be. Picard's final Pokemon is something quite special. I think this is the evolution of Torfin, where it suddenly turns into a narwhal and gains a drill, because everyone needs a drill. And to be faster than Lunar X, which is incredibly impressive considering how fast Lunar X is. Anyway, that nets us the Dow's badge, which enables us to use dive outside of battle, thus allowing us to realise that we can't actually find the seashore cavern here. Also, we get TM Broil, which is just Skulls before Scald existed. At least I think it was Scald before Scald existed. I don't know. Maybe Black and White were released 2010, 2011? Somewhere along those lines? Yeah, it must have come before. I've come back here because I thought there might be a surf route thing, but there isn't. Instead, there's a clone of me. A clone of me that's inexplicably a rare candy. Go figure. Now we've reached the halfway leg of the video. I am literally counting the minutes until I can get back to the real game. We're just going to teach Hydros Dive and go exploring because I can't be bothered getting someone else out of the box, and we weren't even using rest anyway. It's something I'd use in competitive, but this isn't competitive, and I don't even claim to understand anything about competitive. Never have done, never will. Numbers were never my strong suit. So, now we want to move down, get back to Lily Cove. Why can't we fly to Lily Cove? How difficult is it to not botch up a fly map? It can't be as difficult as you're making it out to be. Can it? Well, can it? Maybe. Maybe not. It's all relative to the size of your steeple. Or is it? Actually, no, it's not. I am just talking complete and utter nonsense now. This is Route 324, and therefore we have found us a dive spot. You will note that because the hacker didn't expect us to be able to get this far in the game, she hasn't yet bothered changing the dive sprite to an Ivan sprite. Instead, we inexplicably become smaller and Hoenier. This is Gym 8. It's led by Chuck Norris. Except that Steven is subbing for him, and then suddenly, the final preparations are all ready. I will climb Alt Bomb. It has become very dangerous. Ivan! Don't climb, I don't wish to see more bloodshed. There's a fly animation. Who those speakers were, we may never know. Nor will we ever know why our reflections are all over the shop here. Or why a lot of the dialogue in this place is actually custom. I don't know why they would put... It's weird. The haphazard development nature of this game has meant that she's just put in events in any order that she thinks she can do it without considering doing the things that would make a fuller game first. We'll be going up there next part. That's where Alt Bomb, aka Mount Pyre, is. But for now, let us attempt to find the seafloor cavern. Spoilers, we're not going to find the seafloor cavern. It's simply not here. I don't know if there's a bit in the vanilla script that makes it so that the seafloor cavern doesn't actually appear until you watch Team Bad Guy steal Captain Stern's submarine. I'm beginning to suspect that might be the case, considering that right there is where I would expect the seafloor cavern to be, but it isn't. As it stands, though, this is just a whole bunch of underwater maps with nothing special about them. I didn't actually realize they were all interconnected like this until I actually got to sit down on them. I guess it makes things easier in development and in wall walking, so I'm certainly not going to complain. Although I would question why I suddenly got to... Oh, never mind. We're done here. We've made it to not Pacific Log time now, and we're in the austere desert. Normally, this place actually has the desert theme from the Golden Sun games. But you don't get to hear that yet. And you won't ever get to hear it unless I come back here in the vanilla game, which I very much doubt I will. Here we find the fossils from the desert, because apparently this is where the desert map went. We can actually get both of them, which is a nice touch. They hatch into rock flying and an ice type respectively. The ice type having the highly original name of Sabercat. I'm not even joking. Just Sabercat. Also, this Russian guy has an even lazier in Soviet Russia joke than the last one, and I didn't think that was even possible. Partly though it was. I should not have underestimated Russia. Underestimating Russia was a terrible idea on my part. This apparently is where we could have also got one of the wild, pretty decently sprited Skarmory, which are all that appear to turn up in this little bit of the austere desert. What is it about this desert that makes it so austere anyway? does entering this desert cause you to certainly adopt to immediately adopt certain financial policies? Could do. Could not do. Over there is, I think, another Mythbuster. I am just sick of the Mythbusters by now. I've never really followed the show in any way. I don't really know if you follow Mythbusters, considering it's more of a sort of factual debunking urban myth thing, but maybe you can follow it. You can follow many things. The White Rabbit is quite popular for that. Anyway, apparently, much like in Golden Sun, there are caves connecting deserts to perfectly ordinary bits of world map. This just leading to somewhere in the region of the Pokemon League, I think. It can't be that far away anyway. But in order to get there, we shall first have to fight this triathlete with his Kuratros, and how does that adorable thing evolve into that scary narwhal of doom? Waterstone? Could be Waterstone. Waterstone is a highly educated guess. This is so tiring. Here we are, Pokemon League. Here at the Pokemon League, there's suddenly a guy that sells every single TM. For prices ranging from alright to why on earth would I pay that? Vic Road is in the same place it's always been. We still can't fly here even though we have arrived here successfully. Although we can fly to not Sutopolis and not Pacifidlog. I can't say I understand that one. Anyway, we're going to, I think this is the point where I attempted to try going back to not Slateport to see if I could actually find a shipyard. Unfortunately, I couldn't, but it was worth a go. And I did find something arguably more interesting than a shipyard. I found Rachel's house. Entering Rachel's house triggers, well, it seems like you calm down the missing no. Everything's back to normal. And apparently we have a trump card that we give her even though we never had the trump card. We then follow the glitchy brick road, find an invisible chest, and she gives us one of two items. Apparently one of which was supposed to attract Ho-Oh and one of which was supposed to attract Lugia. We take it, and then we are somehow a witness to a plan that we have no idea about. And we are now locked in this house with no means of escape. This is why save states exist. Next time, back to normal, thank God.